issue asking about the recount, about the DA's office taking over for the recount. Any possibility of that happening?
Well, there's two different roles that our office plays. We have the role as a district attorney, which would be to see if there's any criminal wrongdoing or any investigations involving allegations of criminal wrongdoing. And then the role as county attorney to advise in a civil manner what we feel the law is regarding this issue. So we were contacted over the weekend regarding if we were going to be involved in any sort of criminal investigation. We did get phone calls from the Texas Rangers asking if we needed their assistance, we meaning the county. We have not, as of today, received any allegations of any criminal wrongdoing in the elections department or anything associated with this election. So at this point, there is no criminal investigation that would affect the voting or that would affect the elections department. If there was allegations, then we could authorize the Rangers to go in and seize all the ballots and seize all the boxes and to preserve them. But my understanding of the letter that was sent to me by Commissioner Benavides and also our interviews with Roger Ortiz is that this is a civil matter revolving around the interpretation of what constitutes proper returns from Saturday night, whether they're the returns that were given around 9 or 10 p.m. or whether the returns that were given at 2 in the morning. And that is the issue, and we believe that's the only issue as of right now as to what needs to be decided.
So will the DA be involved in any part of the decision?
Well, she has asked for an opinion, and we are going to provide one regarding what we feel is the proper returns for that evening. From our interviews with Roger Ortiz, the facts are that they did the recount over 2 days, and at the end when they're tallying the votes, the first sheet that he gave out, the one that he gave out to both candidates, indicated a wrong set of figures. And those are coming from his department. From him and other people from his department are indicating that the original paperwork that signified a win for the current Judge Coscos had incorrect numbers. He's indicated to us that this was discovered by somebody in his staff. Somebody in his staff later that evening contacted him indicating that the numbers did not add up correctly. So Mr. Ortiz went back to the elections department, confirmed that the numbers were incorrect according to the first sheet, tallied up a second sheet, and then notified the candidates of what he would state as what he felt were the correct numbers. The issue now becomes whether or not he can amend, supplement, or change the original tallies that he provided at approximately 9, 10 o'clock in the evening on Saturday.
Well, can he?
Well, in our legal opinion, the issue is really a matter for the canvassing authority to decide, which in this case would be Commissioner's Court. So in our legal opinion, we are going to advise Mr. Ortiz to submit all the paperwork that he has on this particular matter, which would include the original sheet that he provided the candidates and the corrected sheet that shows the numbers that he states are correct, along with an affidavit indicating the discrepancies. We believe that that's the proper procedure to do, and then it's incumbent upon the canvassing authority to use the power that's invested in them under the election code to determine what the true numbers are and what they should be.
Now, under this process, of course, the current county judge, Carlos Gascos, and John Wood are part of the Commissioner's Court. Will they be involved in this process?
Since they are part of the canvassing authority, they, in essence, are sitting in on this matter. Since they cancel each other out, I think it would be prudent that both of them step away from the procedure, because they both have a vested interest, and allow the other 3 members of the Commissioners Court to determine which of the tally sheets will be determined as correct. Now, the procedure laid out by the Elections Code does say that the canvassing authority can compare the precinct returns with the corresponding tally list. And if a discrepancy is discovered between the vote totals and the reports shown on the tally for a precinct or for the election in general, that the presiding judge of the precinct shall examine the returns and tally list and make the necessary corrections on the returns. So we do determination as to what are the correct results and incorrect results.
Did Mr. Ortiz say why it took them so long to discover the discrepancy? I mean, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, they see these are the votes. 3 o'clock in the morning, they come and say, no, this is the votes. That's a big difference. I mean, that's a big, anything could have happened. Does he explain why, who found out the difference and why it took so long for them?
My understanding from talking to Mr. Ortiz and from the people in his office, that the mistake was found within an hour of leaving the premises, and that it took them an hour or 2 to gather everyone up in their department back to the elections department. And then from that point on, it took a while for the elections department to notify the candidates. I believe that this type of miscalculation or error has never been experienced before, and so I think there was a lot of confusion as to what was supposed to occur at that point. So looking at it from the interviews that we've had, and from the information that we got, it doesn't look like it was something that somebody had in a eureka moment at 3 o'clock in the morning. I think within the hour, some of the employees from the office started figuring out that the vote totals didn't have overall to what the vote totals they had going into the recount. And so at that point, it went up the chain of command, so to speak, and then it took time for everybody to reconvene. And what I mean by everybody, just the elections department. There was a story that indicated that there were several people involved in determining the figures and determining mistakes. From our interviews with Mr. Ortiz and with some of the employees there, the mistake was caught by the elections department. The correct tallies were done by the elections department, and it's at that point they notified the current county judge and the Republican Party, and then after notifying the current county judge and the Republican Party, they notified the current county commissioner and the Democratic Party, whereupon everyone who's associated with both those candidates appeared at the elections department, and at that point they only allowed 2 people from each side to enter so they could explain what the finding was or what they considered the mistake to be.